Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to make a lip-synced image/video come to life using After Effects. So I'm going to quickly show you what I mean by this, just in case you're a bit confused by the title.
Did my Audacity recording also? If everyone could move.
So as you can see, when the audio file is playing, this mouth is moving. So the louder the volume of the audio, the bigger the mouth, the smaller, and you get a
Did my
smaller
Audacity
mouth,
record?
like so. So that's an example of the audio that is non-existent. So to create this, there are two ways you can go about it, and I'll try and fit in the free way, if you like, and the paid way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly open up a composition I made earlier, which is not that. So let's just take this one for example, and it's purely because I'm a bit forgetful of the code that I use, so I just need to copy that. Aha, here's the one that I wanted. So I'm just going to copy this code because we'll be using it later. So you'll obviously want to create a new composition, and just leave it as composition 2. Let's put the audio duration down to say 10 seconds. Okay, so now we have our workspace, and I'm just going to be consistent with the faces that I'm using. Now you can get one of these to practice with if you want from Google Images, or you can make one in After Effects itself, or with GIMP or Adobe Photoshop. So we have our face, and as you can see there's a mouth already there, and this isn't necessary, but I find it helps make it easier for me to line it up. So now I'll import my audio file. Let's go to this PC. And lip sync tutorial. And we're going to drag this on. Now when this is on, we want to then create a new layer and a solid. That's fine. We get this black object here. First of all, we want to shrink it and drag it so that it's level with the mouth, or if there's not one there, then don't worry, you won't need to worry about that, but for me. Then you get a pen tool up there. You can use G as a shortcut or just click it. And we're going to map out the mouth using the pen tool. Zoom in to make it a bit easier. Now this is going to be very rushed, so it's going to be far from tidy. But you get the idea, you can spend as much time as you feel necessary. Switch back to the selection tool, and we're going to drag this back on. So as you can see, this is definitely far from tidy, so I might quickly drag these out so that they're level with the mouth. And that should do us for about now. Now, very importantly, we need to look at the anchor point of this mouth. The anchor point is what tells us where the mouth will be opening and closing from. And at the minute, the anchor point is there, which means that when we come to sync it with the audio, the mouth will be opening down here instead, which is obviously not what we want. So to this, right-click, transform, anchor point, and we just drag the mouth so that the anchor point is approximately in the middle. So we're being very approximate, but obviously you want to make it look neat, fiddle with this a little bit. So now that we have that, we're going to move the mouth back up to here. So now the next thing, now that we've got our audio set up and our mouth is in place, as untidy as it is, right click on your audio and click keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes. Now this took me no time at all because it's only a 5-second file, but longer ones can take a couple of minutes. So now we click on the arrow next to audio amplitude, which is a new bar that should come up. It's a null object, so don't worry about where it's positioned. Go to effects, both channels, and you get a slider appear, and this is very important. So now we want to go to black solid and we want to click S. Then hold down Alt and click on the watch next to scale. This will be what we are changing, is the scale of the mouth, so its size will be affected by the audio. So now that the scale has, you'll see these numbers have turned red and an expression scale has appeared. We want to use the pick whip tool, which is down here, drag it to the slider, and it creates a code here. Now, I'm going to put this in the description, but this is the piece of code that you'll want to make this work. Oh, don't want to do what I've just done there. Leave that there. I'm trying to widen this so you can get a better look at the code, but we'll look at that later maybe. So anyway, the code is, I'll explain it to you because I'll put it in the description should you wish to just copy and paste it, but I'll describe it to people that are interested into what it means. So we've got the number 100 in one of these special brackets, and now that is I forget whether it's X or Y, but it's the vertical axes. So it's telling the code at the loudest possible point the mouse should be opening to 100 in height, so it's maximum height that we drew. Then if you put a number next to the comma, it could be 5 for example, that will dictate the width. Now I don't personally want to use width for this, but say you wanted the mouth to be stretching across as well as over, then you could put a number there. thisComp.layer, that's just saying what it's attached to. And now the important part is next to slider you've got a little asterisk and then 0.3. This is the degree to which you want the mouth to open in size. So we've got 100 as our maximum, and this is kind of the multiplier, if you like, of that. So I've got 0.3, but you might want to set it to a different number. But I'll leave it to 0.3 now. Let's see how it looks. Drag this back. Let's check where the mouth is. Okay, so the mouth has moved slightly up, which it is a bit prone to do at times. So we just click on it, and as you can see it's moved up here. We want to drag this back down. So let's try this again. Let's see what it does. So as you can see, there is this shape and it is moving, but not very much, if you like. So to get around this, go back to our pen tool. Rather not a pen tool, sorry. We want to keep our selection tool, my bad. We want to shrink the mouth a little bit outwards. I don't know why it's increased in width at all. And we want to stretch these out. Oh, don't want to do that. Let's send it back to the start so there's no interference. Okay, so this has been a bit dodgy. Let's the other way to do this. There is a way of dragging these around, but it seems to be locking for some reason. You can go to this part and change the 0.3 to a higher number. So let's try, see what happens when we put it at a 10. And as you can see, there we are, the mouth is moving. It's not quite how I wanted it because for some reason the yellow markers are playing up. But as you can see, there's a bit of sound. You won't be able to hear what it's saying, but you will know what it's saying when I render it because my computer's very... it's got 8 GB of RAM, which isn't bad, but on After Effects it's child's play. So it's really not good enough to do a RAM preview. But what will be happening is the audio file will be playing and it's talking when the audio file is talking. And to prove this to you, I will then go to File, Composition. Oh, actually no, we want to set the file back first. Otherwise it'll only render from that point onwards. Add to render queue. Output module, I'm just going to put that to 264. Computer. We'll call this lip test. Click save. Then render it. Shouldn't take long at all because it's a very short file. There's the noise of it being done. And now, if I go to lip test, sorry, here we are.
Lip syncing with After Effects is not that difficult.
Okay, just show you again. Now it's all in big.
Lip syncing with After Effects is not that difficult.
Okay, so that is method 1 of doing this, and it is the free version. As I said, I'll put the code in the description. But also, one thing to note is use WAV files for audio. I hope I'm not saying this a bit too late, but MP3 files can cause problems in After Effects, or at least they do for me, but WAV files have always worked a charm. Okay, the second way that we can do this, I'm going to use a different file. We're going to create this effect instead. Go back in there.
Lip syncing with After Effects is not that difficult.
Sorry, it's a bit blurry, but
Lip syncing with After Effects is not that difficult.
as you can see, there is a legitimate movement in the lips. So I've not made a semicircle around a plain face like just. I have made a actual already existing
Lip
face
syncing with After Effects is not that difficult.
actually move with the audio just in the same fashion. But this method, not only is it far easier to do, because you don't have to fiddle or do code or have the problems with the yellow lines like I had, but also it's a lot more smooth. You don't have to create jagged shapes or anything. You can get an already existing mouth and make it that way. So I'm going to make a new composition for this. I would highly advise that you use a black background, because the background choice will determine what colour the mouth is. So mine's black, so the mouth when opened will be black. Okay, so I'm just going to open up a file. Okay, here's our file. Let's put it in. Do we still have the lip sync tutorial here? Yes, we do. Brilliant. So I'm just going to use that tutorial again. Now, what we want to do with this, you need and I'll put it in the description again, you need a plugin. It's about £30, or sorry, no, it's about £24 and about $30 from a place called mamuworld.com. But you go to Window after it's all installed. I won't go through that with you because this is if you download it. You can go to Window and open it via this way, and you get this little window come up, and we click on the picture because that's where we want the lips to appear, and it creates a mouth rig like so. Move this to the side a bit, and you just put this in the place of where you want the mouth to appear. So again, this is going to be very rushed. You can obviously take your time. And then we click continue. Then you can use a nullify tool, which is this, to bring the lips down and things like that. I won't show you what that is, but essentially you can drag the mouth about a bit to make this mouthpiece a lot more smooth, but I'm not going to bother with that. Click continue. Continue. That'll be what the mouth looks like when it's open, but we'll tweak that a tiny bit in a moment. Continue. Okay, now we don't want, like, you can have teeth and things if you want, but I'm going to take all those out. Just want a mouth. That's if you want to fine tune it into O and oo sounds, but again, we're talking time consuming in advance, so I won't go into it. But yeah, so if I move this out of the way a little bit. So what we'll do here, go to the selection tool. We can do this two ways. We can manually increase where the mouth is opening using this red. So I had it actually quite far dragged across to make the mouth as big as possible. The other ones are to do with, so the yellow will move the lips, and the green one moves the face and the environment around it. So I won't mess with those for now, but it's handy to know what they do. Drag this down. So we want his mouth to go as wide as possible. Can make it wider, of course. Let's have it over here. So if the line that I drew had been a bit more neat, it could stretch all the way to the edge, so that this mouth was not just like a bit of a hole in between. But also you can set the sliders of the upper lip so that it opens wider. So in this slider menu, and the lower lip also can make that a bit more like this. Okay, and then if we go to our preview again, I apologise you won't hear the audio for it. We get the mouth movement. And the cool thing with this one that has an advantage over the other one is not only can you use it on more interesting images, but the face moves as well. You saw, I don't know if you can see as clearly as I can, but the cheeks and things move around it. The jaw, sorry, not the cheeks. The jaw and that move around it, which makes it a lot cooler than the other more plain way. There is one other method to achieve this, but it's a very clunky method and it doesn't look very nice. And that's by, I won't actually show it, but I'll explain it because it's far less hassle. Whereas we changed the scale in our other composition, so in this composition we was changing the scale of the mouth, you can press P and change the position. So what you could do is you could create a pair of lips, for example, and individually attach the lips to the audio. And instead of having that code for scale, you could have it attached to position instead, so that when the audio happens, lips move up and down, but it looks a lot more messy. But I might leave a video in the description showing how you can achieve that effect. But yeah, hopefully this has been of help to you. Thank you for watching.